Hey, can I talk to you about something that's been bothering me? I watched a video earlier today and it kind of hit me in a strange way. It was about procrastination, and I realized I procrastinate a lot more than I want to admit.
Of course. What did the video say? I procrastinate too, so maybe it will help me as well.
Well, the video starts with something I didn't expect. The creator said that procrastination isn't actually about laziness. It's not about time management. It's not even about being unmotivated. Instead, he said procrastination is a kind of protection mechanism.
Protection. Like procrastination is protecting us? That sounds strange. How does that work?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. But then he talked about the amygdala, the part of our brain that handles fear, the fight, flight, or freeze response. Every time we face something that feels risky, the amygdala fires up, and it makes us want to avoid it.
So, procrastination is basically our brain saying, don't do it, it might hurt.
Exactly. Not physical pain, emotional pain. Things like fear of looking stupid, fear of rejection, fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of not being good enough. And because our brain thinks those things are dangerous, it protects us by delaying.
Wow, that actually makes sense. For example, when I think about applying for a job, I suddenly feel heavy and uncomfortable. I start imagining everything that could go wrong. Then I end up scrolling on my phone instead.
That's exactly the example he used. He said most people want a better job, but when they think about interviews, rejection, competition, even the possibility of being hired and not doing well, it triggers anxiety. And that anxiety becomes procrastination.
So procrastination isn't the root problem, anxiety is.
Yes, and the video made a really interesting comparison. He said anxiety and excitement are actually the same emotion, just on different ends of the spectrum.
Really? How?
He said, think of hot and cold. We think they're opposites, but really they exist on the same temperature scale. You can't exactly say, at this exact degree, hot becomes cold. It slowly shifts from one to the other. Excitement and anxiety work the same way. They're both high energy emotions about the future. The difference is, anxiety imagines everything going wrong, excitement imagines everything going right.
Oh, so if we can flip the focus from fear to possibility, then we move from anxiety to excitement.
Yes, and when you're excited about something, you want to do it. That kills procrastination at the root.
Interesting. But flipping that switch sounds difficult.
It is at first, but he gave lots of examples, like working out. You can be anxious about exercising, like, what if I look stupid at the gym? What if I fail? What if I can't keep up? Or you can be excited about how strong you'll feel, how your body will improve.
And the same with dating, right? Anxiety says, what if they reject me? Excitement says, maybe I'll meet someone great.
Exactly.
I like this idea, but I'm wondering, how do people flip the emotion in real life? It sounds easy, but doing it seems hard.
That's where another part of the video comes in. He talked about his own YouTube journey. For years, he posted videos and didn't grow. He tried to be perfect, perfect lighting, perfect script, perfect lines. But because he tried so hard to be perfect, he created anxiety around his content. And that made him procrastinate.
I get that. If you feel you must be perfect, you freeze.
Right. He felt ground down. He even compared the word grind to a salt grinder. We grind things until they break down into dust. And he said that's what many entrepreneurs do to themselves emotionally.
So, perfectionism is another cause of procrastination?
Yes. He even said perfectionism is the laziest thing you can be.
Wait, how is perfectionism lazy? It sounds like the opposite.
Because perfectionism gives you an excuse to avoid action. If something must be perfect, you tell yourself, I can't start now, I'm not ready. I need more preparation. I'll do it when I feel perfect. If I don't try, no one can judge me. Perfectionism becomes a shield. It protects you from judgment by stopping you from doing anything meaningful.
That hits me harder than I want to admit.
Same. Anyway, he said the way to break perfectionism is to release control and focus on quantity instead of quality, especially at the beginning.
That reminds me of a photography class story from Atomic Habits.
Yes, he shared it. The professor split the class into two groups: the quantity group, graded by the number of photos they produced, and the quality group, graded only on one perfect photo. In the end, the quantity group produced the highest quality photos because practice led to improvement.
So the lesson is do a lot, mess up a lot, and quality comes later.
Exactly. And that connects back to procrastination. If you think something must be big, important, perfect, or flawless, you won't start. The speaker said, lower the quota.
Lower the quota, like doing less?
More like lowering the required effort so starting becomes easy. He gave a funny example with his gym routine. He used to do hardcore workouts for 2 hours every day because he wanted to be a fitness model. But after years, he got burnt out and started procrastinating. So he tried a new approach: go to the sauna for 15 minutes.
That sounds so simple.
But it worked because once he was already at the gym, 90% of the time he ended up doing a real workout. Not because he forced himself, but because he was already there. It removed resistance.
So the trick is lowering resistance.
Exactly. Reduce the effort needed to begin. Lower the minimum. Make starting so easy that there's no reason to avoid it.
That reminds me of a writer who said he writes 2 crappy pages every day.
The video mentioned that too. 2 crappy pages a day builds consistency and skill. Waiting for perfection creates procrastination. Starting with small, imperfect actions builds momentum.
Everything he said makes sense, but it still feels hard to change my habits.
That's normal. The brain is used to protecting itself. But the speaker gave clear steps. Here's how he said to break procrastination. Understand procrastination is anxiety, not laziness. Notice when your mind imagines things going wrong. Flip it, imagine everything going right. Feel excitement instead of fear. Lower the bar so starting is easy. Let go of perfection, quantity before quality. Accept that you can't control outcomes. Focus on showing up, not being flawless.
I like that list. When you look at procrastination like that, it becomes less of a moral failure and more of an emotional pattern.
Exactly. And when we understand the roots, the fear loses power.
Maybe we can each take a task we've been avoiding and try to reframe it.
Sure, you go first.
I've been avoiding building my portfolio. Every time I open the file, I freeze. I imagine failure. I imagine rejection. So I avoid it. But if I flip it, I can imagine landing a great job, earning more money, working with people I respect, feeling proud. That actually feels exciting.
See, that's the emotional shift.
What about you? What have you been avoiding?
Starting my YouTube channel. I imagine people judging me. I imagine my content being bad, so I never start. But if I flip it, maybe I'll help people. Maybe I'll grow. Maybe I'll enjoy it. Maybe my first comment will make my day. I feel motivated when I imagine that.
That's the whole point. Excitement over fear.
I think many people mistake fear for laziness, but they're not the same. Fear is energy. Laziness is low energy. Procrastinators aren't low energy, they're overwhelmed with emotional energy.
That explains why procrastinators often work extremely hard after the deadline approaches. The fear flips into urgency.
Yes, anxiety becomes excitement under pressure, but we don't need to wait for a crisis to flip it.
We can flip it manually by imagining good outcomes earlier.
So, starting tomorrow, let's each pick something small. 5 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of editing, 15 minutes at the gym, 3 minutes brainstorming.
That sounds easy and doable.
Small wins create momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress destroys procrastination.
And excitement replaces fear. I feel better after talking about this. I used to think procrastination made me weak or lazy.
Same, but now I see it's just fear, a natural fear trying to protect us.
So from now on, Instead of saying I'm lazy, I'll ask myself, what am I afraid of?
And I'll lower the quota and allow imperfection because showing up beats perfection.
Agreed. No more running from tasks, no more waiting for perfect timing.
Let's replace fear with excitement.
Let's do it.